Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of SoTellUs Time. Trevor Howard here. And yes, if you are on YouTube, you are seeing it's just me today. I apologize. Troy is actually on vacation with his family, but it is a working vacation. If you listened to just a few episodes ago, we talked all about working vacations. And so Troy is the educator and I am more of the entertainer, as you guys know, but I'm going to try to do both today, entertain you as well as educate you. And maybe Troy will be on with us remotely next week. I'm not sure. He is gone for a couple of weeks to Hawaii. He's having a great time. He's working hard, but he's also playing with the family. And I'm just excited for him. And that's what we all talked about just a couple episodes ago. So make sure you go back and look at those previous episodes, because having a, working vacation is actually a really great way to still get that break, but also move forward with your business. And sometimes there's some, little key things that we talked about in that episode where you actually will be able to get more things done by being focused on a working vacation than you would be able to get in your office. So it is very important. And I would go check out that other episode if I was you, if you haven't heard it, because it's got some really good tips and tricks on how to be super productive. But today we've got a great episode for you. I am talking about the price of free. Ooh, the price of free. And let me tell you, it can be costly. So I'm going to expose the dangers that having a business that is focused around free or too much free, how that can kill a business. And it really can. Free trials, free consultations, free services. They might feel like good marketing, but they're often costing you clients, profit, and your sanity. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, because everybody wants to do that freemium model, right? They get sucked into that. So why do we feel compelled to give away too much? Now, I'm not saying free is the worst thing in the world. I'm not saying free is even bad. And we're going to talk about and discuss that today. But we often feel like we need to give away too much. We end up giving away too much, and it ends up hurting our businesses. So let's talk about scarcity mindset versus abundance mindset. Scarcity mindset. And remember, marketing is psychologist. And so marketing is psychology. So this is why we talk about these things. The scarcity mindset makes business owners believe that if they don't give more, they'll lose the sale. There's not enough business to go around. Well, I can tell you that's just false, because we have had so many different businesses and niches over the years that are similar. And we have really seen how much business there just really is to go around. And so you don't want to have that scarcity mindset like, ooh, if I don't give all of this, then I'm going to lose the job. I'm not going to get the deal. And that can really hurt your business. But if you have an abundance mindset, that says the right clients are out there and that they value what you offer at the price that you deserve. Okay, so there's a difference, right? You see the difference between scarcity mindset and an abundance mindset. In one thing, you're saying, well, there's just not enough business to go around. My competitors, I don't want my competitors to get all the business. I can tell you there is so much money in this world. And we have had, let's just say the restoration world. Just here in Arizona, there's a place called Main Street down in Mesa. And on Main Street, there is 200 restoration companies just over a few miles of road. And yet there's enough business. I have a lot of clients and friends that own restoration companies and crush it. They make a lot of money. And that's here in Arizona, where people are like, you guys even have restoration companies in Arizona? Yeah, we do. And it seems weird because it's like, what natural disasters do we have? We don't really have mold as much as other places do. So restoration is actually a really good example that even in Arizona, where you might think that there's less restoration needs, we've got so many restoration companies piled into such a small little area, and yet they're all thriving. They're doing just fine. So that's one thing. I feel like the scarcity mindset, it creates fear, and I don't like moving out of fear. I don't like making decisions out of fear. I never think that's a good idea. So having an abundance mindset That's what we've always done with our companies personally. We've always realized, hey, there is enough money to go around, and I don't want every job and every client. I want the right clients, the right jobs, and I want people and those people are the people who see my value. They see the value of my companies. They see the value of our services. So that's really where we want to be. When you're operating from scarcity, you're underpricing, you're over delivering, and you're chasing that low value customer. That is not what you want to do. And I get it. Sometimes in the beginning, when you're wearing all the hats, you're the solopreneur, you take any and every job that you can get your hands on. But as your business starts to grow, you need to really quickly switch over to the abundance mentality, right? Or mindset. And that's a business rooted in abundance that sets healthy boundaries and trusts that the value that they give will attract the right people. Because again, often, and we'll talk about this a little bit more, but often when we take the wrong person, it's just going to create headache and pain, and it's not going to be fun. We're not going to be happy about it. So let's talk about some more reasons why we jump into the whole price game or the free game, right? It's fear of rejection or not providing enough value. There's fear of rejection or not providing enough value. Many entrepreneurs overcompensate with free extras because they're afraid that the offer that they're giving isn't strong enough. And then that means your offering needs to change, but it doesn't mean you have to give away a whole bunch of free service or materials or whatever that ends up looking like for you. Time, energy, and effort. Your time is valuable, okay? So that fear comes with imposter syndrome, or a lack of clarity in the actual result that the product or service you're providing is going to give to the customer. So one of the things you need to do is make sure that you are very clear on what you're providing and the value you're providing to your customers, so that you don't have to over deliver on, and undercharge. Really, that's what we're talking about here, is over delivering on free and undercharging. So instead of stacking freebies, double down on communication and the outcomes and transformations that the client's going to receive. That's a really good thing to do, is focusing on the client having the right expectations of what they're receiving, and possibly showing them how you're different or better than some other competitor or something like that. You want to make sure you're selling on value and not on like the freebie model or the freemium model, right? Because there's a lot of hidden costs with the free model or giving away a lot of free things. Free often attracts the price sensitive tire kickers who drain your time and rarely even purchase. And we all know this. We hate the tire kickers, right? I know we hate the tire kickers. You guys hate the tire kickers. Everyone wants to avoid the tire kickers, but actually going that, freebies model can attract those types of people. And to give you an example, like Groupon, I think most people have pretty much heard of Groupon. I can tell you, business owners hate Groupon. Mostly they hate Groupon because it brings in the person who is just 100% all about price. That's all they care about. And so, well, that's great. You got them. And how Groupon sells you is that they're going to, show up and you're going to give them this big fat discount the first time and all this, but that they're going to, be a customer, a lifelong customer after that. And they're going to come back. And it's like, well, no, first off, when they come back, they want that better price. When they can't get that better price, then they just go back to Groupon and they search for the same service or same business or same product somewhere else on there for a discount. So they just they're just Grouponers. They just hop from business to business or service to service because they're just looking for that price. These clients aren't loyal. They're just focused on that opportunity of getting the best deal. And when they convert, they often demand more value, more discounts, or if they come back, they still demand that same price. So it just gets you into a situation you don't really want to be in. So reduced perceived value is another topic that I want to talk about here. Is when something is free, it's automatically seen as less valuable. So by having, and I'll give you a great example of this, like Rolex, for instance, they don't do discounts, right? They don't do discounts on their watches. A lot of companies don't do discounts because discounts just show that there's less value. Now, I'm not saying discounts. I think discounts are a great way to gain business and especially grow a business. It can be, if it's utilized properly, discounts can be very valuable to a business. But if you've portrayed your value properly, you really don't need that many, I'll say discounts, but then let's just go to freebies, okay? Because that's kind of what we're talking about here is freebies. I think that if you've really portrayed your business properly and the value you're bringing, you don't need the freebies. And freebies can equate to a lesser value than maybe other services or your competitors who are portraying the value of their business better. So I've seen that clients actually respect the better priced, like, so maybe the more expensive priced service with the better communicated value. And that's true just across the board. Free audits, free consultations, and long free trials can backfire by communicating that you need clients rather than being in demand, right? Your services, you want them to feel like that you're an in-demand company, you're an in-demand service, and that people are lining up to work with you. And so I think that people really respect a business or a service that is priced, properly, but the value is really displayed, really portrayed and given. So let's talk about time, energy, and opportunity cost, because these are all things that are really, really important in your business. Every hour spent on a freebie is time you're not spending on profit generating activities. So not only do you have to come up with what these freebies are, but then you actually have to fulfill on all of these. And a lot of times it just comes down to your time, energy, and effort that's going into these freebie models. So free services create non-scalable demand and erode your bandwidth for high quality clients. You need to be able to have time, energy, and effort to put into the high quality client that is actually willing to spend the money, not being bombarded by all of these, maybe low paying clients that are not really looking for your value. They're just looking for the best price. The opportunity cost is massive. Lost sales, burnout, and slower growth, because you're actually focusing your time, energy, and efforts on the wrong type of people. All right. So next, how to set the right expectation from the start. You need to have boundaries with value. So give away value, but not access, right? Well, what does that mean? You can give away something for free, but not access to either you, your time, or like the full system, right? So share insights, but don't implement anything, right? You can give them information for free, but if it's actually, but don't like actually go and, let's say, clean their carpets, right? Or do something where you're having to provide your service at a free model to kind of get them going. You can share information, right? And then have them take action to actually pay for your services, because again, that goes back to communicating your value. Set upfront boundaries. That's a great one. This is a paid service, and here's why. So when someone's like, oh, well, I saw this other service over here and they give away this for free and they add this in and they throw that in. And it's like, well, here's why we don't do that. And here's why they do that. Because you probably know all the tricks, right? That old bait and switch that a lot of service industry especially has experienced with the bad apples in there, that they do this bait and switch with customers. It's like, oh, get a room clean for $39. But then when they get there, it's really, it's going to be very expensive and they're going to upsell them. So they're going to bait and switch them, right? So just build that trust through your confidence and having the right structure in place, and having that value portrayed, not just giving away a bunch of free stuff. You give away a bunch of free stuff and the person might be happy, but those usually aren't going to be your super fans that are going to go out and get you a bunch of business plus be repeat customers, right? So what you want to do is build urgency in your business, right? With your potential clients without all the free handouts, giving away everything free. So the best way to do this is use limited time offers, exclusive bonuses, or guarantees that create urgency. So limited time offers are a great way to do that with SoTellUs. We've got a special offer widget that goes on people's websites that can give some sort of special, right? A limited time special, exclusive bonuses for signing up. It's like, hey, when you sign up for this service, you're going to get this as well. So they're signing up, right? They're actually paying and then they're getting something additional for free, but they're paying for it. We're not roping them in with free stuff and then trying to get them to pay us, right? Or, and I love this one because this goes all the way back to Joe Polish days, back in the 90s when Ron and Troy and I were working with Joe Polish and he was running his big Piranha marketing, which was for carpet cleaners. He talked about the guarantees and he actually had people giving away 200% guarantees, meaning if you weren't happy with the service provided, they wouldn't charge you and they would give you something. Okay. So it was like a 200% guarantee. And what he found was people at first were like, oh my gosh, I couldn't afford that. Well, think about your business. Do you really have a lot of people coming back and complaining and wanting refunds and doing all these things? If you do, you have a different problem. If you don't, you can afford to give a really good guarantee because you know that barely to no one is going to use it. And when they do, it's okay that you lost out on that customer because all these other customers you gained from that guarantee, right? Scarcity should be real and relevant, not based on giving away the farm. So when you say limited time offer, like it needs to be real, right? You need to say, if you're going to put a time frame on something, a special, if somebody calls in after that, well, I'm sorry, that's not available anymore, but we do have this now or something like that. Now, a lot of people, they'll just still honor these things later. But if people catch wind of that, if that's out there, they'll tell people, they'll share. They'll be like, hey, so my friend, I just experienced this the other day, signed up for the gym. And it was like, oh, hey, if you hand these out to your friends and family until this date, they'll get the special offer. And so I got a bunch of friends and family to sign up. And then there was a few that stragglers that came in after that date. And it was like, oh, well, sorry. No, I mean, it's supposed to be till that date. And it was like just the teeniest pushback. And they're like, okay, it's fine. We'll give it to you, So it's one strategy and it can work, but my friends told other friends. I mean, people share that. So just be careful when it comes to that. Frame your offer as an opportunity to solve their pain point, not something that they need to try for free. No, this is my service. And the reason you're even finding me today or looking for this is because you need this. Not because you're looking for a free solution. If you're looking for a free solution, I'm not the right person. But if you're looking for the right solution, I am the right person. And I can take care of that pain point for you. I can help you out with that, right? That's kind of how we really want to frame this. So educating prospects on results and not freebies is the way to go. And that's what we've been talking about this entire time. It's really communicating the benefit, right? The results. Clients don't buy features or time, they buy the outcomes. And that's something to keep in mind and that I think is really important. So shift your marketing message. Here's what our clients have achieved, not here's how much we give away. Here's how much, this is free and this is free and this is free. No, why show that in your marketing? Use your client success stories to help sell more customers. Now, you may be going, duh, Trevor, duh. And yet, what's funny is all the time we see it all over, right? We see all over people are selling on free. And that just can work, kind of, maybe for a while, but really utilizing those, reviews from customers, utilizing case studies, stats that are, results driven in your messaging, that would be really good for what we're talking about today, instead of, buy one, get one free. Now, like I said, there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm just wanting you guys to think of a different way to market yourselves and portray yourselves and get paid what you deserve to get paid. So I'll tell you with SoTellUs as a personal example of how this has been implemented into our business. When we first launched the product SoTellUs, right? That's one of our products. When we launched SoTellUs, we went in with the freemium model. We went in with a 30-day free trial because we were like, oh, well, I don't know, are people going to pay for this? And so we went in with the freemium model, 30-day free trial. We went to our first event and sold like 50 orders. And we're like, this is awesome. That was awesome. But 30 days later, we had a big fall off because a lot of people hadn't used it during that 30 days. And we went on like this for probably the first couple of years that SoTellUs was built. We would go to all of these events and we would sell a whole bunch of 30-day free trials. And at the end of the 30 days, we would have lost a huge portion. I mean, we had big attrition rate. So I got fed up with it finally. And I said, hey, you know what? If people don't have skin in the game, they're not in it. So we're switching this. And we went with a really low model. We just went to this, hey, try it for 30 days for this price, and we bumped it up. And that, the funny thing is we got the same amount of sales. People paying for it paid us the same. We got the same amount of sales. It didn't impact sales at all. So then we actually increased the price and we didn't impact our sales at all. And then we increased the price again to what we ultimately wanted it to be at, and it didn't impact the price, the sales at all. So we were like, wow, we could have been selling it all along from the get-go, making money. And the cool thing was that our attrition rate went down. We kept more customers because they had skin in the game. They had paid for it, so they wanted to use it versus that free, right? Give it away for free. So it really did help us launch the SoTellUs. I mean, when we started, in fact, it was funny. We had people who came back after they had canceled after the 30 days. And we were like, hey, it's now this much. And they were like, what? Oh, I tried it for 30 days. Can I get another 30-day free trial? We're like, no, you didn't even use it. And we were very honest. We're like, no, you didn't use it. And it's useless to you if you don't use it. It's like I give you a Ferrari and you never start it. So that's just useless. And they came back, they paid for it, and they used it and they loved it. And it worked really well for them. So that's what I'm talking about. Free is not always the way to go. Now, let's talk about turn free into ROI, right? How to use free strategically to actually make you guys money. One of the ways would be that free is like a lead magnet. So PDFs, webinars, checklists, those things can be delivered to people. You can create it one time, set it up one time, deliver it to people. It can be free and it's not time consuming. It's not wasting your time after you've already built it. So build it once, right? Create that, lead magnet, like that PDF, 5 things to know before you let someone clean your carpets, or, the 10 biggest mistakes when it comes to hair extensions, or the 5 things most home inspectors miss. See these things? Those are hooks, right? Those are lead magnets that can give somebody something for free. But once you've created it and it's delivered as like a free online PDF, it doesn't cost you anything more because it's not your products or your service for actual free, right? Maybe you do something like a little mini audit, like a 3 to 5 minute walkthrough or video or report. Now that's a little bit more involved than doing the lead magnet, like a PDF or the 5 things or 10 things like that. That's a little bit more involved, but maybe your business justifies that. Maybe the price that you're going to be charging justifies that. See, there's a difference. A carpet cleaner who's going to make a couple $100 off of carpet cleaning versus, somebody who redoes roofs, a roofing company that redoes roofs, and it's going to be, $10,000+ Well, they could do a 3 to 5 minute walkthrough or walk around or video with that person, or, a free inspection, because they're going to, even if they spend 20 minutes with them and they sell, $10,000, that's worth it. Right. So that's another idea. Give, maybe if it's like a service, you could give a limited version of that service, right? You could give a small portion, a dumbed down version of your service. But realistically, it's got to have upsells built in, right? So if you're going to walk in the door, and not a bait and switch, because trust me, I think this is where people get confused. We're not going to say like, hey, we're going to clean a room of carpet for $35. And then we walk in and we're like, nah, it's $900 and we're doing all this. We don't want to do that. We don't want them to feel like they got a bait and switch, but we do want to be able to maybe offer them a lesser version and show them what they get in that for this price. Or here's our premium model, and here's what you get in that version. That works really well. Often people will pick the higher plan because they want the more value. And so that's a really good thing to do. And a lot of times having 3 options is the best way to do, because you're not making them make a choice of like A or B. It's A, B, or C. So they're making a decision, right? If you pick just A and B, I have to make a choice, A and B. And I know this sounds funny, just adding a third one in there, it changes something in the mind that they're not making a decision, right? They're not making a choice. I'm saying that wrong. They're not making a choice of A or B. They're making a decision because it's A, B, or C. And usually B is the middle version, right? The middle package. So you've got like the 2 laid out, like most expensive and least expensive, in the middle, most recommended or most purchased, right? So have them make a decision. I said that wrong. I apologize. Have them make a decision instead of a choice. Okay. That's really, really important. Always tie free to collecting data or being able to nurture these people. So if you are going to give, obviously, like a free PDF or anything like that, you need to be capturing their information and then putting them into some sort of drip campaign in order to close them or help close them at a later date, or keep yourself top of the mind. Okay. That's really important. We tell you all the time there, it's funny as I watch the world change, and the AI, which you guys know, we set up AI for clients. We have AI answering, the AI receptionist, the SoTellUs AI receptionist. They're answering the phones, texting clients. They're handling web chat for our clients. I mean, AI is really amazing. Okay. Same thing with outsourcing. Outsourcing is really amazing. Freemium model can be great if strategically used. But the thing is all of these different ideas, right? Like outsourcing, AI, automation, all of that needs to be incorporated in with a solid business that has a great foundation. And that foundation is your employees. It's like outsourcing does not replace employees. You need to have your foundation built really well. And so we always preach that the best built businesses, they've got a foundation of core employees, core values, right? Those values and those employees can be backed up by outsourced employees to help with handling more. And with the outsourced, you can also add in automation, which will really help your team be efficient, whether they're outsourced and in-house. And then AI to pick up where there's any slack in that rope. The AI can really pick up those missed phone calls. So if nobody can answer the phone at the moment, missed phone calls, 47% of leads come in after hours. So having that AI pick up the calls after hours, having it handle the web chat when maybe somebody's not available, or even texting, things like that. Answering social media, AI can do that. So we always say building your business starts with the foundation, which is your in-house employees, your people, right? Then you can build upon that with outsourced employees, with automation, and with AI. And that's, different than this episode, but really that comes down to what we're always talking about when it comes to building a very successful and solid business to last the years. Troy and I have been in business for 25 years. We have never had a down year. We have always grown year over year over year. And everything we're talking about on our podcast is exactly what we implement in our business all the time. In fact, usually a lot of times the episode we're talking about that week is something we've been working on and something we've been improving, because over and over and over again, we are constantly improving our systems, our processes, our employees, our training, everything. We're always trying to improve over time. So you should be doing that as well. You should always be looking at, where does my business need to improve? All right, guys. Well, thank you. I've taken 30 minutes of your time. So let's jump into the homework. This week, you need to look at your sales process. You need to look at your offerings, and you need to see what needs to change. Find one thing that you can change this week based on this episode and implement it so that you can better serve your clients, find the better clients, and build your business. Because as you build your business, you're going to bless your family. You're going to bless your employees' families. You're going to bless your clients and their families. It just trickles down. The better you are up here at the top, the better it all trickles down. Okay. So that's really what we want you guys to do, is build a solid, amazing business that really provides not only for you, but for your employees and for your clients and for generations to come. That's what we're looking for. All right, guys. Well, we sure love you. We appreciate you. We are so grateful for all the likes, comments, shares. I think we were just rolled over like close to 800,000 views on YouTube. And we didn't set that up that long ago. I'm not sure how many subscribers we have on there. I know we're over 50,000, I think, on Instagram, and we've got Facebook. We're on, everywhere. We're literally everywhere that you can listen to or watch a podcast. So check it out. Spotify, all of those places. We are everywhere, including Audible, which is awesome. I don't know if you guys know about Audible, but we're on Audible as well. So check us out, like, share, comment. We love you, and we'll see you on the next episode of SoTellUs Time.